The Anaconda doesn't want none, and I'm not sure I want any either. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Anaconda. So when they announced this new Anaconda reboot and I started seeing trailers for it in theaters, I was actually very excited for this film. The idea of the reboot following a bunch of down-on-their-luck filmmakers essentially acquiring the rights to Anaconda, a film that in and of itself was not received very well when it was new, and putting together a reboot on a shoestring budget and reimagining it as a comedy horror thing, I thought was a very interesting idea, and I was very intrigued to see where it went. And after seeing it, I definitely have a lot of opinions on this thing. First of all, by far the strongest point of this film is the cast. So Jack Black, Paul Rudd, Thandaway Newton, and Steve Zahn are the core group of lifelong friends that we follow around for most of the film, and they do have really good chemistry. You absolutely can believe that these people have been friends for years, and the scenes they have where they're catching up and recalling old memories, you absolutely buy into all of that. Their dynamics are really fun. You can tell there's a lot of backstory and, possible inside jokes that we don't even see in the script that they came up with together to make it more real for themselves. And so the casting department and the 4 actors there, I think, did a great job in selling that aspect of the plot. And they also do really sell the starving artist mentality, especially Paul Rudd and Jack Black, where just any new idea is the best thing in the world and they need to latch onto it and go for it. I mean, hell, that's what I'm doing right now, so I know it when I see it. And so I definitely thought that, I don't even know if they did their homework. This is probably just lived experience for the two of them from earlier in their careers. But nonetheless, as somebody who's been there, I can absolutely empathize and relate with that. So I enjoyed seeing that part of the film kind of come to the forefront. And the film does have some good jokes and some good gags that made me chuckle. There was nothing that really made me belly laugh or rolling on the floor laughing. But there were some sight gags, some jokes, some quips that were funny enough that, made me say, oh, kudos to the scriptwriter, kudos to the actors for delivering on it. There are some fun bits with the normal-sized snake early on in the film and Paul Rudd being terrified of him. I thought that was pretty funny. And overall, some solid bits, solid jokes. Not anything amazing, but fun enough. The film also had some pretty fun little callbacks to the original. I won't spoil them, but there's some cameos here and there. There's some jokes that call back to it, which makes sense because all of these characters have seen that film. That is a film in the universe that is owned by Sony, and they do acknowledge that multiple times. So definitely gives you some opportunities for some interesting jokes, and they do take a few of those. And then the last thing that I want to touch on in the pro section is the Amazon setting of it. For whatever reason, I really enjoy films that are set in the jungle, even if they're not the best film in the world. Like Jungle Cruise from a few years ago, it was only an okay movie, but because of the setting and there were just interesting things to look at in the background and in the setting, I found some enjoyment in it. So for what it's worth, I enjoyed that the Anaconda movie was set in the Amazon because it did give us some fun things to look at, a setting that I think is underutilized in a lot of films, and I would definitely like to be seen more. So you set the Anaconda movie in the Amazon, and while it's not a high bar or anything, and that's what you were supposed to do, it was cool that you did that. And that's it for the pros, which should tell you something about how I feel about this movie. There's definitely some big issues here. Problem number 1. When you call a movie Anaconda, the Anaconda should probably be a big part of it. And it's just not here. I don't think that the Anaconda, the big one that you see in all the trailers, really becomes fully involved in the plot until there's about 20 minutes left. They do all this other stuff. They set up them going to film the movie. They do this whole thing with illegal gold mining in the middle of the film. And they only have the Anaconda in it for 20 minutes. And I don't know if they struggled to find fun set pieces for the Anaconda, or if they just didn't find it believable for this cast of characters to go toe-to-toe with something like that for any extended period of time. But I was sitting in my chair just waiting for this Anaconda to show up and to actually start picking people off. And it feels like it never did. And when you go into the movie expecting that, and then you're left to wait for it for that long, it really messes with the pacing of the film. And I mean, this pacing just drags and drags and drags. I think it took them 45 minutes just to get to the Amazon in the first place. They spend the first 45 minutes of this film in Buffalo, New York, in Josh Allen country, talking about what they're going to do. And while I understand you want to set up your characters, you want to set up the plot, you want to give them a reason for being there, it doesn't need to be 45 minutes. Especially when you marketed the film heavily with this Anaconda being a focal point. And it just wasn't. And so not only do we have this big portion in the beginning that drags along, once you get to the Amazon, you're just waiting and waiting and waiting. When's the snake going to get here? When's the snake going to get here? When's the snake going to get here? And it just takes forever. And while there are movies that don't show you the monster for large portions of the film, take Jaws, for example. You don't see the shark very much during Jaws. The difference is that Jaws, the shark, has a presence in the film the entire time, even when you don't see it. Everybody has the shark on their mind, and all of their decisions are informed by this shark. Whereas in Anaconda, they're not really worried about the big snake until over halfway through the film. And by then it's like, well, we were on this whole movie thing, and now we're onto this snake thing, or do we still care about the movie? It just doesn't work for me. And to top it off, when we get to the snake, the CGI is not even that good. And I think they CGI'd the small snake too. The regular size snake that they're working with for the movie. And it doesn't look good. And it's the one piece of CGI that you had for this movie. And I don't understand, like, if they were on a time crunch or if they had to scrap a bunch of work and redo it. But it just didn't look good. It didn't look like it was interacting with the things around it realistically. The actors didn't feel like they were interacting with any of the snakes realistically. And so not only did the snake take forever to show up, when it did, it broke my immersion in the film. And so for that, I can't really give it any credit. And another thing that aggravates me to no end is Paul Rudd's character in this film. He has some of the funnier moments and some of the better jokes, but he just seems like he is a genuinely selfish and not great person. He puts his friends' lives in danger. He lies to them multiple times during the film to get them to do what he wants to do. And he is a little diva when he doesn't get what he wants. And I understand he's the actor of the group. They're supposed to be the prima donnas. I'm an actor. I understand. However, if this is the protagonist of your film, and him and Jack Black are largely billed as like the co-leads of this, it just doesn't really work for me. And honestly, there were points where I wanted the snake to get him. So I don't know if the script could have been altered a little bit to make his character a little bit more likable, which is crazy that I'm calling a Paul Rudd character unlikable. Usually, if his character is nothing else, he's usually at least likable or understandable. And in this film, he's just not really. His performance isn't bad. I think it's more of a script issue than a Paul Rudd issue. But that is something to keep in mind before you go and see it. And overall, I mean, there's no reason that this needed to be an Anaconda film. This could have been any sort of film. They could have made it about a made-up horror movie, or they could have called it something else, or they could have billed it more on the comedy aspect of it, and then let the Anaconda be a surprise. I feel like that might have helped a little bit. But overall, I feel like you can't really call a film and name it after something and then barely have it in the movie. That's like having a Friday the 13th movie without Jason. I'm looking at you, part 5. Where it just, you go to see the movie for one very particular thing, and then the movie doesn't give it to you, and you leave feeling pissed off. And that's how I feel. I'm kind of pissed off that this wasn't the movie that I thought it was going to be, and maybe that's on me, but because they marketed it in the way that they did, I don't feel like it was unfair for me to go in there expecting to see the Anaconda. So overall, I don't really know if I can recommend this one in theaters. And I don't think I will. I think there's other things in theaters that are more worth your time right now. I think that you could probably wait for this one to come to streaming, or if you could find it cheap, physical copy later on, rent it, watch it, whatever. Because to me, like, I've got a Regal Unlimited pass. I can go to the theater as much as I want, so I'm not really upset that I lost money or anything like that. But if you're a person that's paying for individual movie tickets, at least just know what you're getting into before you go to the movie, because I honestly feel like got a bait and switch going into this one, and I don't really appreciate when movies do that. And with that being said, I am giving this film a 2.5 out of 5. I think the cast carries it to that 2.5. I feel like if they would have had a cast that cared less or was, just less funny, this could have gone down to a 2. But if you like these actors and you just want to see them banter, check it out, I guess. But as for me, I don't give this my recommendation. And with that being said, even though I didn't particularly enjoy the film, I did enjoy putting this together for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more content like this, please like, share, subscribe. Anything to help grow this channel and get it out there to more eyes, because I enjoy doing this way more than I enjoy my day job. Thank you guys.